we go. Round 2. First die
Ready to
is
serve, my
the
lord.
Knights. Alright, I think I know what I'm going to do here. I think what we're going to do here is we're charging in before those archers. I got to decide whether the Earl Guilford's going to go in after the archers or go in after the warriors, the Knoll warriors. Now, they're the ones probably going to most likely try to start kicking in that door. So I think we're going to target the Knoll warriors. So I think the Earl's going to do it. I think he's going to charge in. So we're looking at least, they get a 16 move, 8, and then they can probably, yeah, they're going to have to, this unit's going to have to, the Earl's going to have to move it. They're going to have to triple their move this turn in order to get to those warriors up there and charge them. So they're going to end up having to take an agility test afterwards, because they're going to sprint. They're going to end up sprinting after, and that's going to require them to make an agility test. So Abuzio, Father Abuzio, gives them a quick prayer before they go. Go forth as shields for the innocent and swords for the truth. Heronius watches, and he is not blind to sacrifice. And off they gallop into the knolls. So we're going to be doing 16, 8, 6, yeah. They're going to be easily make it within charge range. They're definitely within for sprinting. Yep. So let's move this over here. Show the action. We got Guilford charges up, and we don't make the test until, so he's going to go here. He has to stay outside of an inch of this other unit. So we'll put them up there. They're charging. That is easily outside of an inch. Looks like it to me. It's pretty close, but oh yeah, they're outside of an inch from that one. So that's going to be a run order, which basically is a sprint. And then we're going to, they pile in essentially is what happens. Is everybody fights. So the Earl and his crew, his retinue fight along with the Knolls. So nobody's really eliminated till the very end. Now they need to make an agility test. So we're going to get this out here. We need an agility test. They have to roll 5 or under on a D10 for an agility test. They have no specials that would change that for them. So they're going to have to do 5 or under. All right, 5 and under. They don't get a pin. So they successfully pass that test. Now they also have the Earl, since he has his special word follow, can activate friendly unpinned units within 5 inches with the same order. Additional activated units take their turns one at a time after the original unit. So he's actually going to give, let me get this out of the way. He's actually going to give Sir Cratch's unit down here, he's going to give them the same order, and they're going to charge after. They're going to charge. Um, they're going to sprint and charge after the archers. So it's going to get ugly here in about 5 seconds. So we got. So basically, what happened here? We have Sir Guilford's unit charges up. Earl Guilford charges up. He has in his card. You'll see him. He'll have. He has Sir Guilford of Reynolds' unit of 5 mounted lord. That's a mounted lord knight with his knights. He has what's called follow, right, and that's a key word for them. And the follow means he can activate a friendly unpinned unit within 5, which is what they were. They were unpinned. Sir Cratch's unit is an unpinned unit within 5 with the same order. So they're going to get a run order as well, and they're going to sprint. Right? Additional activated units take their turns one at a time after the original unit. So we're gonna have to do this charge first with the Earl. The Earl's unit's gonna have to do this charge first, and then Sir Cratch's unit's gonna charge, and they're gonna charge up and into the archers. So let's get into it. It's going to get ugly here real fast, like I said. So for starters, we have, just to go over a couple things on the card, you'll see that they have a strength of 6. Okay. Lances don't give them a strength bonus, right? Lances only give them, swords give them a strike value of 1 and a strength value of 1. A lance only gives them a strike value 3. So their strike value right now, instead of being 6, is a 5 because they're using their lances. So they got 5. So I got 5 knights. So this will be the 5 knights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knights, and then I'm sorry, the 4 knights, and then you have his lordship. I'm sorry, the Earl of Reynord. He is 3 hand to hand, so he gets 3 dice. So for him, we're going to use red dice. Okay, that's going to be Reynald's dice. You see the 3 there, and then they have the 5 war horses. All their horses also contribute to the attack. They're 1 hand to hand and strike value 1. So we'll use 4, 5. We got 5 dice here, and that's going to be for the war horses. And we're going to roll these up. So what we're looking for, let's do the war horses first. We'll do them on this side. So we're doing the war horses looking for 5s and unders, 5 and under on the charge. They get +1 because they charged. So you're looking for 6 and under for the horses. 6 or under. Instead of 5, they go up to 6s because they charge. They get +1. So basically, they're looking for 6 and under. All right, that's going to be 1 miss, miss, miss. We got 2 for the war horses, and then for the knights, they would be 5s. Their strength 5, +1 for charge takes them up to strength 6. And what they do get out of this, though, that's really good, is they get a strike value of 3 on the charge, which reduces their armor by 3. So, but for now, we're looking for 6s or less for the knights. And here we go. So we got the war horses trample 2 of them, and we're looking for the knights. 6 and unders. We got 1 miss, 2 misses, and everything else hits. Then what we're going to do is we go into we find I'm going to grab the stat card for the gnolls, right? And we're going to work out how many of these guys got hit. We find the gnoll card real quick so I can show you. Let me see. Here's the gnoll card with 6 gnolls. Okay. So what you do here now is you look at the resist. The resist is 7 and 8. 7 if their armor didn't count, and 8 if their armor is being used to its fullest. So there are some things like spells and different things in the game that will ignore armor. So if you ignore armor, it would be a 7. Because they're not, because this isn't the case here, their armor is an 8. Okay, that's their resistance. They have a resistance of 8. Okay, and you allocate hits to each one. Since there's 6 of them, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to give an extra one to the leader. Okay, and what you do now is you roll. You roll. We're looking for now for the horses. For the horses, the armor is going to be 8. They have to roll 8 or under to not take a hit. Okay, because the horses don't. Oh, the horses do have a strike value. I apologize for that. Their strike value 1. So instead of 8s, they need a 7 for the horses. 7 or under. All right. 1 horse hit. It's usually equal to 1 death. And the no warrior, the pack. The pack master has uh, he he can re-roll. He's tough. He has a keyword tough. He can re-roll 1 failed resist test. So there was two. There was the two hits on the extra hit was on the leader. Okay, and the 2 horse hits were on the leader. So he misses. So we're going to roll. He gets to re-roll this one. He rolled a 10. He still takes the hit. Okay. Now the other uh, gnolls. Okay. The other 5 hits are going on the gnolls, and they need. Normally they resist 8, but because they're using lances are strike value 3. So they have to roll 5 or under in order to um, defeat the attack on the knights. 5 or under. We're looking for 5s and down. No, no. They all hit. They all hit. That was a 7. So we're looking at all these hits here just coming in and just decimating. It could actually should actually wipe out this entire unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 hits. They can only take 1. So now that's 6 hits. Okay, that's going to be 6. We're just going to put a 6 over here for the gnolls. For the gnolls damage. That's going to be the gnolls damage. Now the gnolls get to fight back before they die. So they get a whack in on the knights. And because there's 6 gnoll warriors in this group, 2, 3, yeah. And there's 5 knights, we're going to give the extra one to Guilford himself. Because Guilford has some keywords that can help him get through this attack. Right? He has tough 2. And he's also wound 2. So that's going to help him out, and I'll explain that in a minute. But at any rate, we got the gnolls coming in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the gnolls. The gnolls attacking, and the gnolls are their strength 6. The gnolls are strength 6. Okay. They are strike value 1 because you're using their swords. It gives them the strength 1, which is already included in the stat. And that's the pack master, and the normal warriors have the same thing. They're using sword strike value 1, strength 1. So they're looking for 6s and under for hits. And what we got here is 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 hits. These two do not count. Now the Goslin, he's going to take. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. So each knight has to take a different one. So it's going to be everybody. It'll be. Uh, we're going to do the Earl for 1. We'll do his Sir Ulick, Sir York, and then we'll give 1 to his second son. Okay, nod free. Now we take a look at their resist 6-9. All right, so it's the 6-9. We're gonna do what did I say? We'll give 1. Let's give 1 to Raynaud. I think I did say that. We're gonna give 1 to Raynaud, uh, Constable Walrath, and Marshal Ulick and his second son. So we'll do Raynaud first, right? So because Raynaud has he's tough too, and tough too. It's what tough is you can re-roll 1 failed resist roll or damage chart result check. So he can get to re-roll this if he fails it. He has to roll 9 or under. No problem. He rolls a roll 1. He doesn't even have to do that. Now for the rest of the 3, we're going to roll these. They have to roll 6 or under. The 4 knights don't have anything to help them to get any rerolls, so they have to roll a 9 or under. We might lose one of them too. All right, 6, 2, and a 4. They all roll under. Their armor 9 or under. They're fine. So what we have here is we have a massive crushing of these gnolls over here, and we got 6 gnolls that are hit, 6 gnolls that say night night. So let me go over here, and we'll take a peek at how you eliminate these over here. Now, normally they would get, since there's 6 hit, they would get 6. They get 1 pin for everyone that's eliminated. That's the whole unit, right? So that would be 6 pins. But because this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This unit has been eliminated completely. They're gone. They're bye-byes. The thunderous charge of his lordship just decimated that Knoll unit and said, no, not today. You ain't going anywhere near that church. You're not going to go anywhere near them. Now, after that, we're going to go to the next step is going to be they have to consolidate. And when you consolidate, you can basically what you do is you can how consolidating works is right after normally they would do a break test if they survived, but they didn't. So basically, it's a consolidation move is a normal move, a single normal move made as if an advance order had been given to the unit, unless it already had a die order. So I have to flip their die over from a run order to an advance order. Units with die orders keep them, and of course, none of these guys those units aren't down. So we have to consolidate. So they make a normal move as if an advanced order was given to them, and you advance no matter what. You can advance whether you have a move order on them or any other order. It's part of the combat. It's like a free movement to consolidate. And so what we're going to do is we're going to advance backwards. They're going to circle back around, and they are going to advance 8 inches back. So basically, we're going to move. He'll turn around. He'll come back here to 8, and you can change the movement on your. You can change the movement on. You can change facing on these at any time that you want. So, right, I think he was here. He was over here. So let me do this again to make sure I'm getting 8. Yeah, so he can come back 8 inches. And he can come back. He'd actually be a little bit further than that. So he'll move back 8 inches. And then these guys will be all in line. So we'll just do that now. They'll be just the way they were. They'll get an advanced. In advance. This was a great win for them. But again, they're they outmatch these Knolls. There's no doubt about it. And they move back here. Now, that's Guilford's unit, and he's done for the turn. Now we have these guys over here. We have Sir Cratch's unit that still has to make their move, right? So we have Sir Cratch here. He still gets to make, because under his command, he gave the Earl gave a command to that unit to also follow uh, the same order, right? So he ordered them to follow. He can activate an unfriendly unpin unit within 5 with the same order. Additional activated units take their turns one at a time after the original unit. So he activated them, and Sir Cratch's unit is going to run up. This is part of the reason why they stay together. So Sir Cratch's unit is going to do the same thing, except for he's going to target these archers here. So Sir Cratch, if you can catch him here, his unit's going to move up, and he's going to have to do a sprint as well to get him into range of the Knolls, and that's what they're going to do. And they charge up and they wreck into these Knolls who are freaking out. However, they move their movement now because these Knolls have bows, right? So they're going to be entitled to a pass-through fire before the knights get to them. So we're going to work that out right now. Okay, so in Warlords of Eraron, it's not called pass-through fire. It's called an exchange of missiles. So as Sir Cratch's unit was rushing up to the Knoll archers back here, they do an exchange of missiles. So if they had any missiles that they were able to use and the Knolls can use, they would do an exchange of missiles prior to the final meeting and engaging in melee. So the only ones that can actually shoot are the Knolls with the bows. So they're going to get, when they get within range, they're going to get uh, a an exchange of missiles onto the knights as they come by. So we're going to roll that up now. Let's get this over here a little ways. We'll put this so it can be seen. Yes, turn this a little bit. And we have 5 archers there. Now it's a little bit different because they're being charged. So they are being charged. So they're not going to get an aim shot. And they're -1 within the exchange of missiles. They're -1 in an exchange of missiles because they're being charged. They're all nervous. They see this huge unit of knights charging down with lances right at them, and it's freaking them out. And basically, it reduces their ability. Now, the their accuracy is not good to begin with. Their accuracy 4, right, with the bow. It's like I was saying earlier. The Knoll Packmaster and the Knoll Archers, their Knoll Archers aren't that good. Okay, so they're accuracy 4, but they're actually now 3 and under to even see if they hit the knights before they engage. So as the knights are charging in, they cut loose with their bows, and they have to roll a 3 or under because they're being charged uh, in an exchange of missiles. So we got 1, and the rest missed. And let's see who we're going to put this on. We'll put it on a regular knight. He's going to have to roll. Let's see what the knight's armors are in Sir Cratch's. Uh, so we're looking at 6-9 as well for them, right? So they're heavily armored on war horses. So we're looking at a 9. We have to roll a 9 or under to save a knight. See what we get. 9 or under, just made it. Arrow like zinged and like just clipped off his pauldron. Got real lucky there. Now we really get into it, right? Now we get into even though the Knoll Archers, took a shot at the knights as they were charging in as a an exchange of missiles, they still can do whatever they don't have an order dice. So that attack that when the knights were charging, that's free. They'll be able to still do something for next round if they survive this. So we're looking at Sir Cratch. Their strength 5 and 6, right? Their strength 5 if their strength 6 if they're using their swords, but because they're using their lances on this charge, uh, they're going to be strength, instead of strength 6, they're strength 5, right? So that's going to be 4 knights. They're using lances, and we're going to roll this up here. They're strength 5, so you need 5s or unders with these lances to hit them. And that's going to be, you cannot re-roll 1s and 10s. So 10's always a failure. That's a failure. Everything else, the other 3 lances hit. The lances hit the Knoll Archers. The Knoll Archers are resist 7. We're going to roll these up. But the resist 7, lances give a +3 to a charge. Their strike value 3 on a charge, so it's 7. They have to roll 4 or under on these. Failed, and they passed the other 2. Okay, so they're going to take 1 casualty as a result of that charge. So we're going to throw, where's my D6? Okay. I'm just going to set this out here to remind me. That's so far, that's what we got, right? So they're going to have 1 casualty right off the bat. Now, we also are going to roll for the 4 horses as well. And the 4 war horses are strength 5. That's roll 5 or under. We got 3. The war horses did real well. They rolled 3 hits on the Knoll Archers. Once again, the Knoll Archers are strength 7. 7 or under. They take another hit. They take another hit there. They lost another casualty. That's going to be. We're just going to use these pin markers to mark them as casualties. So they failed 2. They lost 2. Now the archers get to fight back because these Knoll Archers are also armed with swords. So they're going to get the fight as well. 4, 5. So we got a unit of 5 archers on the knights. Their strength 5. Yeah, let me double check something real quick. I want to make sure their strength's correct. I think they're going to be strength 6 with their swords. Yeah, so it says here, just real quick, to double check. Knoll Archers are strength 5. So if now with the swords, they have a +1 strength with their swords, so they're now strength 6. They're strength 6 with their swords, so they need 6 or under to hit the knights. And we got 1 hit, 2 hits on the knights. Okay, 2 hits on the knights. Same as what they got over here. Let's see if the knights can save, though. Now, hits in combat, you'll only get a pin on a unit in combat if they suffer a casualty. In archery, it's different, or in range, it's different. If they score 1 hit, whether or not somebody gets killed or not, you still get a pin, 1 pin. Even if you got 6 hits, you still just get only 1 pin. But in hand-to-hand combat in Warlords of Erewhon, you only take a pin for every model you lose. So now I got a rule for my knights. My knights, the swords are strike value 1. The resistance of heavy armored knights is a 9. we need to roll a -1 is an 8. We need to roll 8 or under. Okay, a 6 and a 1. They take no damage. And what this indicates here is, let me move this up a little bit. Uh, this indicates over here. I'll go over on the other side. We're gonna give one of those misses to the. We're gonna give one of those misses to be fair to the no archers, and basically what that is the no archer, the no packmaster, the no packmaster archer. He's tough one. He gets to reroll one field test. So right now they have two. We're gonna reroll that and give that second one to him. Okay, he resisted that one. So they only take one pin and only lose one casualty. But that still has an effect, right? So you go over here because whoever's being attacked can choose. If they're attacking them, whoever's running this unit, they can put the hits where they want. So I would put the extra hit on the pack master so I can get that reroll. So basically, we'll lose one. You take a pin. Now, next time if next time they try to act with a pin, they have to make a command roll to see if they follow the order or not. However, because these guys won, Sir Cratch's unit won, he can choose to continue the fight, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to continue the fight because he won. So, real quick, just so you know how this works, what happens is typically in the attack in close combat, the results are the side that has the greatest number of pins once the hand-to-hand fighting is finished is defeated. So the Knolls got defeated because they took a pin. The defeated units must take a break test and abide by the results. So they have to take a break test right now. And basically that is they have to take a break test against the unit's command stat modified for the pins, right? So I got to roll a D10. We're going to use the Pack Master's command of 8. You have to roll 7 or where they're -1 because of one pin. They have to roll a 7 or under. A 5, they do. So they're fine. Nothing happens to them. Everything continues as normal. They're not broken, and they're not destroyed, and they're not routed. Basically, that's what happens. And now we can continue with the combat. And in this particular case, once you do the break test, you can do a follow-on combat. If both sides survive the hand-to-hand fighting, then the winners can decide to continue the fight instead of consolidating. So instead of consolidating, the knights are going to at this time continue the fight. They'll fight a further round of hand-to-hand combat in exactly the same way. This is called a follow-on combat. So I'll just go over these rules real quick with you so that you know what's going on and you can follow along after this. We could skip through this for the next combats. You can only fight one round of follow-on combat. And also when fighting on a follow-on combat, the winners of the previous round get a +1 strength bonus on as a modifier. And then after this, in the case of a draw, drawn results, both sides would normally consolidate. However, if both players wish to do so, they can fight a follow-on combat instead. But we're going to do a follow-on combat because you can only have one follow-on combat. So we got now this time. Now how I work it out with the knights is that when they charge, the first time they charge a unit, they can only use their lances once. It's assumed the lances, once they're engaged in hand-to-hand, are thrown to the ground, and until they're resupplied. Like if they do another combat against a different unit, they'll get to use their lances again. But for this attack on these guys, they no longer have lances. They're going to be using their swords. So we have 4 knights. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 knights, and they're using their swords. Their strike value 1 and strength 1. So they're strength 6 with their swords instead of 5 with lances, and they need 6s or under to hit with their swords, right? Yes, they have no other keywords to help them. with their swords. So I'm looking for 6 and under. Okay, these two missed. We got two on the swords. All right. Now the strike value 1. The null's resistance is a 7. And we're going to give 1 to the leader and 1 to another. We're going to put them both. We're going to give them both to the regular nulls. So they're going to be resistance 7, but the swords have strike value 1, so they're going to be, we have to roll 6 or under. Okay, they didn't make it through 1, so they took another casualty and they take another pin. So we go over here, there, here. Then we have to take, since they lost the combat, they have to take another break test afterwards. You can only fight one follow-on round of combat. Like I think I said it earlier. I think he said you could take more than one. You can only take one. But they have to make another break test. So they need to roll. They have to make a command. They have to roll their unit's command stat modified for the pins. So the null archers are command 8. The null packmaster has a command of 8. -2 for pins is a 6. He has to roll 6 or under, or that unit's going to get routed. A 10, he fails. Okay, so that unit automatically takes, because they failed, they suffer an additional D6 pins right off the top. They take another pin. So those guys take another pin, and they are routed. And what that means is, you take their dice out of their dice out of the bag, right? You give it to them, and they have to make an immediate about face towards the shortest edge of the table, a move. So basically, you give the routed unit a run order. Yet I took the dice. You take the dice out of the bag, and the unit makes an immediate full 2 movement run move, which is 10 for them. It's be 5-10 inches, right, towards its own table edge where it has one. They can't participate in anything until they are no longer routed. So this unit's going to go 10 inches. They're out of here. They turn tail and they run 10 inches. They take their pins, they take that, and they take a run order. Now they can get out of being routed by having another unit. I'll go over here. I'm going to grab this. I'll bring this over to you. I'll tell you how this can happen. What can happen here. So let me fix this a little bit for you so you can see. So this unit here, they're routed, right? But they can get out of being routed. For instance, because they have it's a run order. I was correct. But anyway, they can move out of this status of being routed and remove the routed, and they can actually lose pins. But somebody has to rally them, and how you rally them is if another unit, like let's say Imor, the Desecrator shaman, that Imor wants to do, he could do for his action. He could do a rally test. He rallies, but anybody within 10 inches and any other routed unit within 10 inches automatically will be considered an attempted rally. They'll lose pins and they can make another roll on their command dice to see if they remove the routed token. They'll lose pins, and then this will change from run to rally as well. But right now, until we see what we pull next, is that's going to be key. So right now, probably if somebody doesn't rally this unit, they're off the table. All right, let's go over here. Okay, let's get this dice tray out the way. Okay, so also, like it says, so you can only fight one round of follow-on combat for Sir Cratch's unit, and that's what they did. After which both sides must consolidate if they survive. So Sir Cratch is going to consolidate now, and he gets to do a full move, which is 8 inches, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to come back. They're going to consolidate by moving back 8 inches back. All right. And I do believe I put Sir Cratch's die. Where did I put his die? Did I stick it somewhere? Here it is. Okay. They'll take an advanced. They're advanced now instead of running. All right, and that's it. That's how that works. And we can skip through some of the rule readings and stuff and different things, but you get the general idea of how this works. If I made any mistakes, which I probably did, just let me know ahead of time or in the comments. I'm still learning some of these rules, but I'm also trying to explain it as I go, so it's a little bit different. So we go to the die bag. Who's up next? We have, all right, Knowles. Let's see here. What are we going to do? I think what we're going to do is, I think we may advance these archers up. I think we may advance. Let's see here. We got to do something. They just got their snouts smacked like dogs under a table begging. I think what we might do is get those trackers on a run here. They can move. The trackers can move. They may swing in here because there's a knight unit right here. Sir Hodwis's unit's like right here. And I think what those guys might do is they may take they're really fast, and that might that might get them to where they need to get to in order to attack. So if these null trackers, they have rapid sprint, which is 4 times their sprint, so that's 20 inches that they can move. That's probably going to get them in. Let me see. You can measure anytime you want either. So there's 10. Hmm. Hmm. Here's 10. Okay, there it is. So these guys, they look down the road and they're like, oh, there's somebody there to eat. And the old tracker is going to take a run order. They're sprinting. They're moving 20. They're going to engage Sir Cratch's unit right here. They're going to move 20 down the road, and they're just going to jump right in their faces. So let's just double check and make sure. All we need is one unit, one to make it. Oh yeah. So they get waylaid, and the crazy hyenas move in, and the gnoll with the chain mace comes up, and all his friends, and they just crush right into here. Now they suffered a pin, so we have to double check. Okay, I got a pin here. I should have probably not moved them because what I got to do is I have to make they have to take a command test. So they need to roll a 8 or under in order to do this. So let's just put this down here. Those guys get a roll an 8 or under. They can't do what they just did. Okay, 5. They're good. Thank goodness, because that would have had to move them back, and that would have got ugly for me. Made me look silly. So anyway, now we have a really good combat right here, because these hyenas are brutal. They have Savage, which is reroll all misses the first time the unit does close combat. So we're going to get our little dice tray out here. And without killing Yeoman Hod's unit, we're going to have 6 hyenas. 6 hyenas. And then we have the leader who has a chain mace. Now, the chain mace is very interesting. We'll get into that first. Let's roll the hyenas on this side. Let's see here. Move this a little bit over so everybody can see. Hyenas on this side. Hyenas are strength 5. They have one hand to hand, strength value 1, savage, rapid sprint, and they're woodsmen. So the savage allows them to re-roll all misses the first time the unit fights in close combat. So they had to roll under 5 or under. That's a miss. They all hit, so they get to re-roll this. This is devastating to the Knights. All right, they missed anyway, so that's all their hits. Now we're going to go to the Null Tracker. Has a strength of 5. He's using a chain mace, which gives him a strike value of 1, but it reduces their armor. So he's tough too. All of them are. The Null Tracker's tough. He can re-roll 1 failed resist test. So he's going to roll here. Is his roll? He needs a 5 or under. He rolls a 10. He misses with the chain mace. All right, now for the Knights, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 savage hyenas yipping at their haunches of the horses and their legs, and just jumping up and biting them in the thighs, and they just went hog wild. Let's say hyena wild on these Knights, man. They just got crushed. So my Knights are, they're resist 9 because of their armor, right? So we have how many? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll give the extra one to Sir Cratch. So Sir Cratch this is going to be Sir Cratch on that side. These are the regular Knights. They need to roll 9 or under. 9 or under. Okay, the Knights are good. They take no damage. They lose nobody. Now, Sir Cratch has to roll a 9 or under. He rolls it. He makes it. They take nothing. Now, that was the hyenas and the Null Tracker. Now it's the Knights' turn to fight back. They're going to put some pain on them. So they're losing long swords at this point because, like I said, they weren't charging. They weren't using their lances. So they're going to be strength 6, 4 attacks, strength 6 on the hyenas and on the Null Tracker. All right, 10s, there's nothing they can do about that. 8's a miss. They hit twice. All right, they're going to allocate 2 of those hits to the hyenas, and they are resist 7 on the hyenas. So they have to roll a 7 or under, but because the swords are strike value 1, they have to roll a 6 or under. Okay, well, there you go. That designates who's going to win. I'm sorry, that's an 8. You can't really see that. Apologize for that. So they're going to take a casualty. They're going to lose a hyena. Yep. They're going to take another pin for that, for losing the hyena. So that means that the Knights won the combat, and whoever wins the combat, they have to make an immediate. They have to take a test. So because they lost the combat, they have to take a break test, right? If a unit has accumulated, uh, you take a break test. Always take a break test if you're defeated in combat. If a unit's defeated in close combat, it must take a break test, unless it's like a test. They take it unless it's an artillery unit, but they're not, of course. So their command is an 8 with the null tracker up, but they're -2, 8, 7, 6. So we're looking at an 8. The null trackers, the leader's still there. -2 for the pins is 8, 7, 6, 4. They're fine. And now the winners of this fight are going to continue to fight. Sir Hatch is like, we need to take these dogs out. They're going to continue the fight, and they're going to go with another round of combat, just like we did over in the other side. It's going to be the same thing here, right? So they're going to do the same thing here. I'll give that run order over here. Oops, I'm sorry. I bumped that a little bit. Let's give us some more room here. Okay, I think everybody can see that. Let's take a look here. We'll get a little bit closer. That's better. Let's see if we can get both the trays. Yeah, that works. Okay, so Sir Cratch is going to continue the fight. We've got 4 knights. Oh, you know what? I also forgot the war horses. The war horses are going to get their attacks too. As I was, it ain't over yet. So the war horses, we got 4 war horses. War horses, their strength 5, so they read 5 or under. So they got 3 hits in addition to that. Okay, so they're going to have to take another break test. So they took 3 more hits, and the null trackers are resist 7, so they need to roll a 7 or under. But the war horses are strike value 1; they roll 6 or under. Okay, so they took another loss with an 8. But if I remember correctly, they passed their uh, test. We're just gonna let that go. We're gonna let him take the risk. But they did take another casualty. Now we go into the second follow-up combat. So we're to go, and I ain't gonna forget the horses this time, like a dingbat. So we got 4 horses and 4 knights going into them. The horses are the brown dice, or the darker dice. So they needed a 5 or under on them. So only 1 horse hit. And then the other ones, we got 1 hit with the horse, and then the knights, that's a 10, that's going to automatic miss. The knights are strength 6, and the knights get 2 more. All right. So we're going to put them on hyenas. Hyenas are resistance 7 because they're everything strength value 1. The horses are 1 and the swords are 1. So the hyenas are going to need a 6 or under. They fail 1 and pass 2. They're going to take another casualty. They're going to lose another hyena. They're going to get another hyena. But they're all going to get an attack first. So it's going to be the hyena we took away. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 hyenas. And it's going to be the null tracker going after the knights on this combat. So the null tracker is the red die, the leader. So null tracker is strength 5, and so are the hyenas. So I'm looking for 5s and under. That's a hit. Hit. Nope. Yes. Nope. So there's 3 hits. And we're going to give Sir Cratch a Furiandy since he's tough. We're going to give this one to Sir Cratch, and then these 2 are going to go to regular knights. And we're looking for Now, once again, it's interesting because that chain mace, the chain mace is strike value 1, so it automatically takes Sir Cratch's resistance from a 9 to an 8, but because the chain mace, the enemy armor can only get a +1 bonus, so his armor can only be a 7 at best. So he's 7 at best. Strike value 1 takes him down to a 6. Sir Cratch going to roll a 6 or better here. He gets 2 chances at it because he's tough. 6, he's good. Okay. Now, other 2 knights, they got hyenas on them. They have to roll under a 9. Or, I'm sorry, yeah. Let me look. Their strike value, they have to roll under an 8. 8 or better. 8 or under. And they're fine too. I don't know if I remembered if yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. The hyenas being strength value 1. So they don't take any damage. They lost that combat. They need to take another break test. Yeah, it might get a little bit ugly for them because they got to take a break test with at least 4 pins on them. So we'll have to see. They rolled a 1. They make it no problem. They pass their break test, and now now the units will consolidate from their current locations. So we basically give them an advance order. They get to move 5 back onto the road for their consolidation, move their pins over there, and then that's it for them for now. The knights are going to make their consolidation move. They move 8 because they're on horseback. So they're going to move straight back and sort of position themselves possibly for another charge for round 3. So they just regroup and move back. Once again, they can change facing at any time during the move. There's no restrictions on that. And they'll move back 8. And given their advance order, the gnolls and hyena, the gnoll tracker and his hyenas get an advance order. And that's that for that. You'll have to pardon me because I had to redub this section of the video when we're going back to the bag, and we got gnolls again. So we'll swing over to the other side of the table, move the camera so that we can see, get a better perspective on what's happening with this. So it looks like the archers may move up here and take a shot at Sir Cratch's unit. Maybe launch a little bit of an arrow storm into that unit and see if they can soften them up, because Cratch's unit didn't take any damage. So they're going to advance. They're going to advance up 5, which will eliminate their +1 because they moved. They can't take an aim shot because they advanced. They're going to get into a line, as you can see there, so they can all get a nice clear shot at the knights. It's Sir Cratch's unit. And we'll go over to the box here, the dice box, and get some dice rolling. It's going to make it a little bit heated up for Sir Cratch and his retinue. We shall see. Just checking the measurements here, making sure they're well within range. They're at long range, so they'll be at a -1 to hit these knights. They're over 10 inches away. So we'll stick the die tray down here and get rolling. Like I said, the gnoll archers aren't the best. They're unless you roll really well, they're just doing chip damage. So here we go. So they look like they rolled. Got 1, 2, 3, 3 misses here on Sir Cratch's unit. Yep, or they may have all missed. Yeah. So no hits at all on Sir Cratch's unit at all. They don't even take a pin. All right, we'll go back to the die bag. See what we get next. Who's up? Knowles. It's going to go on with these Knowles. I think we're going to go with Immortal Desecrator. And the Shaman is going to rally these. I think the Desecrator is going to rally the Bowman. So we got. He's going to take a rally order to make sure he's within 10 inches. So rally will allow models that are routed near them to take a few tests to get rid of that routed condition and to get rid of some pins. So when you take an order test to rally, you ignore the pins that might be on the model. You ignore pins the unit's command stat. So the Immor doesn't have any pins, so she's going to automatically rally. And if the test is passed, which it is, because Immor automatically makes it without having any pins, doesn't have to test. But if the test is passed, you could remove one pin because it's been given an order, and it removes an additional D6 pins because it is rallied. If Immor had the roll and he failed, the order test to rally is the usual failure would apply. The unit goes down and it removes one pin. Now it can also rally routed units, which is the Bowman you just see here, over here. When a unit makes a rally action, and then each and any friendly routing unit within 10 inches can also roll a d6 and remove a number of pins indicated before making a command test to determine if it halts the route. A unit that has no pins on it can make a rally action solely to rally other units nearby, if so desired, which is what Immor is doing here. So anyway, we're going to go to Immor doesn't have to remove any pins, but let me check. He's going to make sure we're within 10 inches, which I'm sure we are. We'll go over here, double check. Well within 10 inches, no problem. And we'll grab a D6 here real quick. And I'll put this down here. Make sure it can be seen. Now this is going to be the how many pins are removed from the archery unit. The archers. 4 pins. That gets rid of all their pins. Now we have to check and see. We have to make a command test to see if they're able to remove. They're command 8. The leader is still there. They have to roll an 8 or under. A 10. They stay routed. You got to be kidding me. How they missed that? That's brutal. Yeah, that's pretty brutal right there. Not to be able to make that roll. So they're going to stay routed. Immor basically used his turn to do nothing. He didn't help them at all. The archers are like, no, we don't think so. We're still out of here. We're still going, Joe. The archers stay routed. Imor used up his turn. Yeah, they're not returned to battle worthy status. And also, this happens that when one unit within 10 inches of another routed unit rallies, just as a rule in the game, this rule for the routed unit automatically happens if it's in within 10 inches. So when a friendly unit that has no pins on it can choose to make a rally action solely for the purpose, like I said before, to get them to stop from routing. But they fail their command test, so and that's it. The unit continues to route. Too bad for the archers. They're like, we're out of here. We ain't dealing with this. We ain't playing. We're not staying here. I guess they feel they're outnumbered. So go back to the bag and we draw the knights. Let's go over here and take a peek at the knights. What do we got going over here with the knights? We got a lot of stuff going on here with the knights. Who's left? I don't know. We'll take a peek. I think it's about time. I think we're to get. Let me take a peek here and see what we got going on. We got Yeoman Hood over here and his archers. We have Sir Gossett. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up. Well, they're within charging range of Sir Hodwis, I do believe. Let's double check that. So they're moving Sir Hodwis's unit. Let's take a look and see what we got going on with Sir Hodwis. So they can't sprint. So you're looking at 10 inches. They have to move 10 inches to engage. They can't sprint because Sir Hodwis's unit is heavily laden because of their armor, and they're on foot. They're not on horseback, so their movement's going to be a 5, but they can't sprint. So they can run, but they can't sprint. So 10 would only get them to about here, and that's no good. Let's see if we can get. Let's see if we can get Yeoman Hod's unit up there. Let's see. They can probably sprint up. They're close enough. Let's see. 5, 10, 15. Yeah, they'll be able to pile in. We'll give it a shot. I know they're yeomen, so they're. I don't want to call them rabble, but now you know what I think I'm gonna do. Let's see. Maybe we'll get. Let's try the Father Abuziel and his supplicants. He might cast. He might do the divine. He might do a divine evocation of Bolt of Righteousness. It's range 20, and they are well within 20. And Father Abuziel is going to do that. I think he's going to take a. He'll take a. I think he takes a fire action for doing his for casting his evocations. He's range 20. He's going to target the leader. It's a one auto hit. It does D3 +1. Um, it'll do D3 plus magic level strike value. So let's just move this over here so we can get a better look at what's going on here. So we have Father Buziel here. He's going to strike out with a bolt of righteous steel. So a flash of silver blue force manifests as a spectral spear hurled by Hieronymus's judgment. And he is going to, he has to roll D3. His magic level is 1. So it's going to be 3 hits. It's an automatic 3 hits. Now he's tough. So 3 hits against one model, one enemy model. So we're looking at, for null trackers, the null tracker himself is resist 8, right? There's no strike value on that, so he has to roll 8 or under. And he's tough 1, which means he can re-roll 1 failed resist test, which includes this. So let's see what happens with the righteous bolt. He's already taken 3 hits. Oh, by the way, that means he's going to get another pin. The most importantly is the unit has to make a break test after this. And that unit has a lot of pins. It's going to be a tough break test. But anyway, we're looking at 8s for the null tracker. Okay, he failed 1. He failed 2. He gets to re-roll 1, but it's not going to matter. 10. That's a massive failure. He still takes. Yeah, he still takes that point of damage. So he's gone. And then the rest of the unit, the hyenas, because they no longer have a leader, they need to take a break test at -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. And the hyenas command stat is a 5. And that actually breaks them straight out. So anytime that your number of pins are equal to your command stat, which is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're done. That's it. Because the null tracker had a command of 8. The hyenas had a command of 5 if you lost the tracker. Tracker's out. So this unit is gone. They go away. That is 2 units down for the nulls. They're off the table. Going back to the bag. Move my dice tray. Next up, nulls. All right, we need to start getting into that church. So we're going to move. We're going to move this null unit up to the doors and see if they can get in. So they'll get they might have to sprint over. We'll see. So we have 5, 10. Yeah, they're going to sprint over. They're going to sprint over to the doors, surround these doors. Easily get to the doors. They're all going to be within 1 inch. They're not going to be able to do anything this turn. They're going to have to spend their turn in order to try to bash these doors down. But they did sprint, and now they're going to have to take a test for sprinting to see if they take a pin or not, and then exhaust themselves. So that's what we're going to do right now. So what's we have to check their agility. Move this little house out of the way for now. So that unit's going to test their agility, and we will see their agility 5. So they have to roll 5 or under, or take a pin. 2. They're fine. No pins. And they are at the doors getting ready to bash them in. I'm sorry, they're no guards, by the way. I want to add on there that of course the no guard unit They're using huge axes. Their strike value too. They don't give any bonuses to strength though, so that might help them get through the door. I don't know. We'll check and see, but I don't think it's going to have an impact on opening the door. But nonetheless, they're there. Next die, Knowles. I think what we're going to do is Pack Lord Varric is going to go. And I think what he's going to do is he's going to. I don't think he's within 10 inches to rally. Let me take a look over here and see. Is he? He is. He's within 10 inches. So, I'm sorry. I'm looking over the wrong side. Yeah, he's outside of 10. I think what he's going to do, Packlord Varric's going to make his way, and his protectors. I think he's going to make his way over here to get ready to go after these knights. So he's going to move 15. Let me get. He's going to sprint. So 5, 10, 15 is going to take him right around to here. 5, 10, yeah. Here. Move his banner with him. He'll take the run order. Let's make sure that everybody can see what's going on here. So what we end up with is Pack Lord Varric on that side of the church after making his run order. And there's going to be a little bit of a showdown, I think, in round 3 between either the Earl Guilford's Knight unit, as you can see here, or Sir Cratch. You might call him out to a one-on-one combat. Make it nice and bloody and make it an official one-on-one for a little bit of honor. Call him out. But anyway, in the meantime, setting things up for round 3. We start busting each other in the mouth. White Knights. We're going with Knights. I think we're going to move. All right, Hodwis has to get into this. He has to keep them out of the church. So Hodwis is going to do a run move. They're going to move 10. Set them up for the final showdown here as well. So Hodwis's unit's going to move up 10, 10, 10. Yeah, they're going to get. Hodwis is going to have to do something about this. Whoever draws the first die next turn is going to make a big deal. It's going to be a big deal for them. So they ran up 10. Of course, they're heavy laden. They can't sprint, or they'd be smashing into them at the front doors of the church. But that can't happen because that armor running is enough. All right, next die. Knights
Ready
again.
to serve, my lord.
Okay, I think Yeoman Hod not to be undone. Now they can sprint, so they're going to sprint up. Yeoman Hod unit is going to sprint, not to be undone. They realize the importance of what's going on here at the church. They're going to run, but they also have to take a Yeoman Hod's unit has to take a They have to take an agility test or take a pin. So Yeoman Hodge Glaives, agility test. See if I can get this in frame. I can without knocking over and Brother Azaziel getting smashed. So yeah, we'll put that. I think we could. We might. No, we can't squeeze it in there. But we'll go right here with it. They're agility 5, so they roll 5 or under. 6, they don't. They take a pin. Don't want to be taking pins early if you can help it. But that's how it goes, right? Okay. I got new dice, so those fluorescent green dice that you couldn't see, you'll be able to see the rolls now. Okay, there's only a couple units left here. We got. Okay, we're going back over to the Knolls. Let's go see who's left over yonder. All right, I think what we're going to do here is get a little bit of an angle shot here. You can see the knights. I'll get my pointer in a second. So you see you see this unit of seven gnolls with lightly armored with uh, axes, right? They might be able to sprint over to. They might be able to make it over to these knights to Sir Earl Guilford's unit over here on the other side. And we're going to check and see that right now. They need to be able to sprint over there in order to get to them. And I don't know if the closest model is going to get within 15, but we shall see, right? Let's take a look see here. We got no. They can't get within 15. So what they're going to do, they're going to take a run order then, just to play it safe, because if they're going to engage these knights, as a matter of fact, yeah, I mean, their priority is the church. So they're going to take a run order. They're going to move 10. Let's set them up for another, maybe getting over to the church. Let's get them moved up. Get into the fight, fellas. They're howling, they're barking, snarling. They can taste blood. Okay, so they take a run order. They're gonna get into this to get them people out of to get the villagers to take them hostage. All right, next die. We got knights. Let's go over here and take a look. Okay, I think Yeoman Hod's going to do what they do best, right? So let me get over here and get a good shot of this. Yeoman Hod and his longbowmen, they see those gnolls. Yeoman Hod's unit here sees these gnolls moving up, and he's like, nah, I don't think so. So they're going to make an advance move. They're going to move 5, so they're not going to get. They'll still be at long range, I do believe. 5, 5. 5, 5. 5. Let's get them all moved up here. Basically, as long as they can see, and I'm making it so that they all get a. We'll go over here with it so we can see this a little bit better here. they're all going to get, they all have line of sight to at least one model. So they're all going to get to shoot. Uh, so let me check and see what they, because they're shooting and because they move, they don't get the +1 for an aim shot. But that's okay. I mean, they're uh, they're pretty good with their bow. They're long bows. So I'll double check the ranges to make sure they don't get nothing with that. But so there'll be a long range, I do believe. Let me check with their long bow. So we have, so they took an advance order. If they didn't take an advance order, that would be like a that would be considered an aim shot. So they would get a +1. But their longbows are, yeah, if it's over 10 inches, which it is, it's over 10 inches, it's considered long range. So yeah, so they're going to be at long range. So they're going to be at a -1 to hit, but they have the Deadeye rule. So the entire unit has Deadeye, and Deadeye says you can reroll one miss. And of course, Yamanoto himself is he's tough, so he can reroll one failed resist test. So going to the bows, though, we're looking at, let's see what we got going on here. Let's turn over this way to the die tray. We're looking at a 10-man unit. We're looking at 10 dice. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They are, because they're considered long range, they're -1. Their accuracy 5. So now they're accuracy 4, and they can re-roll one miss. So we'll go up here. We're looking for 4s or under. This one, that's a 10. So that's going to be a miss. 4s and under. 4 and under, 4 and under, 6, 8, 6. And I get to re-roll one of these. Whoop. 2. Okay, so we get another one. So there's 4 hits. Now with archery, with archery, irregardless of whether or not you destroy a model or not, if any hits are scored, they automatically get 1 pin. No, they just automatically get a pin. So now we're going to go to that unit, the Knolls, and they have a resistance of 8. Okay, they resist 8, so they need to roll an 8 or under. And the leader is, so we're going to assign, typically what you do is you assign 1 die to each one. So we're going to give 1 to everybody except the leader. So we only have 1, 2, 4. So we're going to give 1 shot to everybody except the leader. So we go back over to here to the die tray, and we are looking for 8s or under for these Knolls. They're tough. They have an axe that gives them a strike value of 1. Their strength is increased by 1 because axe, and they have light armor. And here we go. Resist 8, 8 or under. They pass everything. 5, 6, 8, and 6. So they're good. Odo's archers had no effect. No effect on these Knolls over here. None whatsoever. Well, again, it gave him a pin. That could make a difference too. So, who do we have left here? I think, yeah, Gossett and Uth is the only 2 left. Let's go back to the bag and see. I think they're the only 2 dice in the bag. So, what we're going to do is there's only 2 left. There's no more Knolls left, I believe. Oh, no, wait. We do have 1 Knoll left. We have the Face Ripper over there. The Knoll champion's going to go. So, back to the bag. All right, we're going to go with the Knights again. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up Sir Gosset's unit. They're going to run 10. They can run because Sir Gosset's units, once again, heavy armor. They can't sprint. So they're going to take a run order. They have no pins, so they don't have to make a check. And they're going to go up here and get ready to engage these gnolls to take them out. So Sir Gosset's unit moves up, take a run order. Back to the bag. We got, who do we got here? Okay, we got our last gnoll unit. And we'll go over here real quick. Igmar the Face Ripper is going to, should he go back and try to rally these? No, I got 2 other units there. I think Igmar is going to move up. I don't think he's going to make. He can move 15 if he wants to try to go after Gosset's unit, but I don't know if he'll get there or not. 5, 5, 10, 15. No, but he'll run up here. He's going to do it. We're going to run him up here and get in Gosset's face. Give them a different target. It's going to get a little ugly over here. A little bit tough over here and bloody for Sir Gosset's unit. 5. Let's do that one more time here. 5, 10, 15. Yeah. Now he has to make an agility test as well. Ignar, the Gnoll champion. He's going to get a run order. And then he needs to make an agility test, and I'm not sure what his agility is, but we'll take a peek. Ignar's agility is a 5. Pull that back for Ignar. 5 or under. 2. He's good, no pins. He successfully maneuvers his way, rushes up there to, well, essentially rip faces off, right? That's what he does. I guess he collects their faces like as if you would collect scalps, right? From the French and Indian War. So that's that, and then we're going to go back to the bag. Well, we don't have to go back to the bag, actually, because the only one left is Yeoman Uther's unit, and Uther's going to have to do... Let's go over here and take a look at Uther. Uther can sprint, but he's going to have to give some support. So let's go over here and see if I can move Uther's unit. As you can see him here, let me move this here, stabilize this a little bit better. That's Uther's unit, and I'm going to try to get him maybe over by Ignar, over that way. See if we can get him over that way. So we'll set that right there. And we got Uther's unit. He's going to do 15. I'm going to try to get this column to move. 5, 10, 15. The problem with this is this column is going to maneuver this way. The problem with this is going to block the archers a little bit, but I may end up advancing them again and see what we can do. But Luther's going to swing around because once they seen the champion coming, they're like, "Hey man, we're gonna have to take him down. He's going to be tough. That Gnoll champion is going to be really difficult. Ignar is going to be really hard to take down. So they need to make a Yeoman Uther's unit. Long spearmen have to make a agility 5 test because they sprinted. So back over to the die tray. We're looking for 5 or under for Uther's Long Spearman. 4, he does it. Okay, everybody's full of energy today. Everybody's sprinting and being fine. Okay, let's take a quick overview of what happened this round and talk about it a little bit. So we have Earl Guilford's unit moved up. They took out a unit of Knoll warriors that were here. And then they came back, setting themselves up for another charge. We had Sir Cratch's unit go up and decimate part of this routed archery unit over here. They're still routed, so they might have to be re-rallied again, or they're going to lose another because they're easily going to go off the table in their next run move. We have Yeoman Hod has moved up to get these knolls. They took a pin from sprinting. They're going to try to get these Knoll warriors. This what are they called? What are they? They're not Knoll warriors. Those are actually uh, Knoll guard, and with the big axes. And they're trying to bust down the door. They're going to try to achieve what their goal is. And so we'll go over that as well to find out. I'll look over that and see uh, what kind of bonuses they get if they get that door done. We have these archers moved up, preparing for next round. Well, let's just stick with the knights first. So Hod's unit moved up. They took a pin to go after these to get this Knoll guard away from the doors. You had Sir Hodwis has moved up. He's getting ready to move in. Father Boozle next turn probably be moving up, cast some more spells to try to help out as much as you can. Give a prayer or two. We have Yeoman Utha's long spearman moved up to sort of counter Ignar moving up, and this Knoll 7-man Knoll unit here. And then we have Yeoman Odo and his 10-man longbowman, his unit of 10 longbowmen. They're just maneuvering around the battlefield to get as best of shots as they can. And then over here with the Knolls, we got this Knoll unit moved up, getting ready to engage. We have Ignar moved up to protect this flank of the Knolls, right? Because the church is their priority. We have Enmore the Desecrator, who tried to rally this bow unit that got crushed by Sir Cratch's unit, and they failed their check. They just want to bail. So either Enmore is going to try to re-rally them, or Pack Lord Varric's going to have to rally them. He's not going to be happy if he's not able to do it, because they really can't lose another unit. They've lost 2. So if you lose more than half, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we lose if you lose more than half of your force that you started out with, that's pretty much it. That's like game over. So they don't want to lose any more units because they'll be down 3 units. So that's what Varric's options are. And of course, the archers over here, they're going to try to protect um, this Knoll guard unit that's trying to get into the church. It doesn't look great for the Knolls, but they're really, really good in melee. They're really, really good in close combat. So, and then of course, Varric hasn't done what he does best. And I think what might happen, Earl Guilford might call him out. There may be a one-on-one combat, and we'll have to roll and see if Varric takes the bait, if he wants to do it or not, if he wants to call him out. So we'll see to see if the 2 warlords will get together, and of course Earl Guilford for honor to increase his amount of honor for his unit and himself at least, to call Varric out and say, let's do it let's end this right now, and they can do that. But we'll see what Varric wants to do. He's bloodthirsty. He's deadly. He probably wants to kill everybody in that unit. So, as a typical Knoll. So that's it. That's what we got. This is what it looks like after round 2. Round 2. We got all of them out. Going into round 3. That's it. And like I said, the Knolls lost their Knoll tracker, and they lost a unit of swordsmen. That's it. See you in round 3.